city employees. You're the city, and they're telling you you don't matter. So what are you going to do about it? So always trying to get people stoked up.
So when you need changing, they're coming back like there's a school that goes to be there, there's a park, and now they're making it smaller. They're using the Governor Brown's theory that now it's supposed to be Arboretum, so imagine what it's supposed to look like. Now it's going to probably look like, Prescott. They're going to bring in cactus and all the
Sure. Everything's based on global warming. That's what I say. If you can make that thing fall, it all falls. Because if you can start to make people realize going, yeah, they keep talking about that, but that's not real. Why are they forcing this housing under the auspice of global warming? It's not real. It's fake.
My question is, what if it's a deal to undo a specific plan?
It takes a vote of the council. So the council would have to get behind it. And that's where you have to get these, either remind them who they work for.
Yeah, you do need a councilman on your side, even one, would be extremely helpful. You have to get it on the agenda to stop a specific plan, okay, and to get it reviewed. But if you don't have that person, you're going to have to muscle all your activism together to put pressure on any of those council people to cave a little bit. And the way you do it is to get as many people as possible in the surrounding community on board with a quality of life issue. Now, by the way, that's typically a liberal phrase, okay? But think about that, because you need everybody possible on your side to break down this argument. So what you need to focus on, and you walk the neighborhood where they're proposing building this, take the ugliest pictures of high density that you can possibly find. Put the 5 pictures of your council people on there and say your council people want to destroy your quality of life. They're the full assault on the quality of life in Fontana, a family community, whatever. You have to, and you put their names on, you put their faces and their names on that flyer, and you hit every house in the surrounding area that's where this new development is being proposed. Tell them to stop the XYZ specific plan. Ours was Beach Edinger Corridor, BECSP. Everybody in Huntington Beach now knows what BECSP is. It was a specific plan. We stopped it.
Just another comment on the council person. Most councils, at least ours, works this way. You can't get an agenda on the item to even have discussion unless you have a council member put it on there.
Yeah.
So you are going to have to find a council member to get it on your agenda. And to the issue you have in Redlands, what was I going to say? You have some people that you need to get off the council, but I'll bet there's a couple that want to be reelected.
Oh, there's always, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you use it against them, into your favor.
Yeah.
You use it in your favor against them.
Yeah.
The 2 people I mentioned that didn't want to be on our Mount Rushmore, they're the 2 people that I actually don't want back on the council because they don't vote with us all the time, but they have been voting with us lately because they want to get reelected. So use it in your favor, even though you would rather they didn't get back on council. Use it against them.
Use them, okay.
Yeah, use them.
How about the desert rat? How about, you're the planning commission, right? So if biologically somehow there's a desert rat in that area, would that negate them building? Is that a fair way of doing it?
I always advocate, this is Saul Alinsky, use your enemies' weaknesses against them, right? So yeah, if you've got the Endangered Species Act that is always working against us, if you could use it against them, advocate it. Yeah, sure.
Who has a desert rat? Do you have one? Okay, so is that a legitimate way of doing it?
There are no rules. Listen, here's the deal. They have no rules. We have to stop playing by the Marcus of Queensberry rules. Stop getting your white glove out and wanting to slap a guy and go have a little duel. Get out with a bat.
No.
Saul Alinsky, read that book. That is the tool. Yeah.
Yeah, getting back to the HUD ruling, can you expand on the Supreme Court's ruling on reaffirming that?
with disparate impact?
Yeah, you know, that and also what Congress is doing, some congressmen got something to fight for.
We have
Yeah.
a congressional bill and a Senate bill. And they're here.
Dan is referring to the Supreme Court ruling that was the least known of the last thing with Obamacare went against us. Whatever the wishy-washy guy ruled on disparate impact, which basically means it's the same old thing. We're going to not only, you don't even know you're a racist, but we're going to show you how you're a racist is how that boils down to. That's all it is. It's them, the tail wagging the dog. It's like, we're going to find anything we can do to prove the thing we want to prove. So disparate impact, there's a monster ton of scholarly, legalese, but when I read it all, it's just, oh, look, we want to prove this. We want to throw our weight around in the housing area, so we're going to create this thing called disparate impact.
So can we use that against that concept of using the racism, throw it back at them, say, I'm trans black?
You can do anything you want.
And look, so they're
If
using,
it were something we're working against you, why not?
so if the city council, so this HUD thing is not just in Huntington Beach in August, right? So every city has different dates. So for example, in Redlands, if they suddenly, if we can say, let's get rid of HUD, if they don't want that, we'll say our neighborhood, we have a lot of trans black, trans Asians, trans people.
We identify as black.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not, can we,
Because you're, I think with that one, you're really playing into their favor more than anything else. I would probably go at it with a different strategy than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you're kind of, you're just playing on their ball field, with that one.
Oh,
Well, I'm this over here, and you're being mean to me now.
then to flip it back, right?
Yeah, I think there might be better ways to go about it, so.
Okay. Darn.
I want to answer Dan's question. There are 2 pieces of legislation right now in floating around Washington that aren't picking up enough traction. So if you want to be proactive about this, I highly recommend you contact local congressmen that haven't signed on to this. Paul Gosser from Arizona authored HR 1995, which is local zoning protection, which is intended to defeat AFFH ruling. I've been on Facebook and Twitter about this constantly for the last month. It's got a little traction, but not a lot. I've been beating up on our 3 representatives, Rohrabacher, Royce, and Mimi Walters, tweeting and emailing them. I got about 50 people in Huntington Beach to send emails to Rohrabacher. So it's picking up a little traction. So whoever your representatives are out here, tell them to sign on to Gosser's bill, HR 1995. And then Senator Mike Lee also authored a bill at roughly the same time that's also a property rights bill that's intended to combat on the Senate side the HUD AFFH. So if you can, throw some love out there and support for Mike Lee and Paul Gosser.
It's a Senate bill. I can't, if they don't have numbers, they call it the Senate bill. I'll look it up on my Twitter feed and I'll see what it is.
General plans, they're everywhere, they're popping up, they're coming all over, and all you hear are climate action plan is mandatory,
Yes.
which is not. And then you're also hearing we have to have identity, we have to have identity, it's a state mandate. Do cities have to have general plans? And I know the climate action plan is not.
Yeah, climate action plan or a cap is not mandatory. You have to get used to something. You're going to go to your city, you're going to ask them questions, they're going to lie to your face. You have to do your own research. As a developer, I taught myself, when I go to the counter, they're going to tell me no. And then I go, well, show me the rule book. Where it says no. Well, maybe. So our general plan, it's her fault, right there. She took me to a general plan update meeting. I didn't know anything. I'd heard about Agenda 21. It was a book by Glenn Beck. That's all I knew. We sat in round tables of 8. There was 100+ people. And I sat there and I listened to a gal across from me say, well, I think the city should have more buses. And I think it needs more high-density housing. I think it needs more bikes and more walking paths. And then it came around to me and I looked at her and said, hey, those are all great things, but we're $960 million in debt. And she did this. You're lying! She screamed at me in public. And I went, the hell just happened? And I found out that woman was a shill. A Delphi meeting, in which I'll be happy to explain that to you another time. So I got so curious, I started doing research. I started going to the general plan meetings with a video camera, just like that. After one of the meetings, I was curious who the consultant was. And I looked her up. And her name was Tammy Seal from PMC in San Luis Obispo. And our city paid her company $2 million. What? And if you go to Amazon.com, you will find her writing a book called Climate Action Plans. 5 pages on how to implement climate action plans in cities. So we knew that was a general, this is a global warming plan in place of a So that's what the plot is. General plans are a way for them to inject their ideology into our towns for 20 to 25 years and change our towns.
But here's the punchline, to answer your question. The state mandates that every city have a general plan, but it only mandates 7 items be in that plan. Our climate action consultant for $2 million wanted our new plan to have 14 elements. And thankfully for our newly elected Eric Peterson and a handful of activists attending all those general plan meetings, videotaping them, asking questions, they scaled back our general plan to the 7 required elements. And now, the global warming consultant that was supposed to work on this another year is done.
We've never seen her again. There's still, the company's still there, but the gal's not there. If you want to see all this in action, find Gary's channel. He's got a number. He just put out one showing they're in West Covina. They got their guy, they paid him $580,000, right, Gary? Kaiser? $550 to do their general plan. This guy's a bearded Muslim with a heavy accent,
Yeah, we know him.
who said the thing that still frightens me to this day. Guy doing a workshop with citizens saying, you got to stop thinking about, quality of life. He says, you need to start thinking about quality of place. That sends a chill up my, because it's like, you're going to live in a tiny little box, but you're going to have a Starbucks downstairs, and it's going to be next to a train. Awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, so with regard to the general plan update, you have the housing element, right? But that's required by state, is it every 4 years? And then if that was so, how is this AFH thing gonna mix?
It's another way for them to force high-density housing. So it's now, because they're losing, right? Because guys like us stepped up and said, enough of this. This is a way for the feds to step in and say, oh, I'm sorry, you took $1 of our money. Now we have control of your local zoning.
So, but we can actually inject on the update, the housing part of the general update?
Yeah. Yeah, you can. But this is where you have to have an elected on your side.
If you aren't already doing it, you should download or pull up your city council agenda every single week, your planning department agenda.
72 hours. 72 hours before that.
Every 2, or yeah, so whatever. Ours is published on the Wednesday before a Monday meeting. And like I said, to the extent you can get some Facebook dialogue on a community forum, start talking about this. We had city council meetings for years where 2 or 5 people would attend. And they'd get their little awards in the beginning and everyone would leave. There are anywhere from 10 to 30 people at every city council meeting now, or streaming it live, because now there is a general distrust of government in Huntington Beach. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Everybody distrusts government. Liberals, conservatives, everybody. That's what you need. But you only do that by exposing it.
Yeah, great.
And I just want to be sure we answer your question. Okay, and that's a bigger talk, so maybe we'll talk another time.
Building Industry Association.
Yeah, so this is a group called the Kennedy Commission. And by the way, I'm weird. Like, I love to infiltrate leftist meetings. I love it. I want to hear them in their own words. I went to one of their meetings about 8 months ago because I saw, I'm on all their lists, so I get the email saying, hey, come talk about how we're going to take the world up. And it was a meeting the Kennedy Commission was having about global warming. And I wondered, why does a low-income company care about that? An NGO, a non-governmental organization. I went there, and they were talking about AB 32 and SB 375. And the woman, field of developers, just have a look about them. And she says, we want to help fire hose this money to you. Billions. AB 32, 20% of it, I think, must go to low-income housing. So the 4 or 5 billion they've taken, they're now taking this money they've stolen from industry under the false thing of global warming, and they're putting low-income housing in your neighborhoods where they weren't intended to be. And they're doing it with a program that Cal EPA has called the Disadvantaged Communities Map. If you go to Cal EPA, there's a mapping tool that will show you in bright red the communities that are disproportionately affected by climate change. No, they know. And that's where they will say, this is the place we want to put all this money for low-income housing. Here's the net effect of this. You're changing voting patterns in districts.
Yeah.
These are folks, low-income folks, God bless them, the majority of them vote Democratic. They're subsidized. They're changing the voting patterns of our cities with money they're stealing under the auspice of a false scientific ideology. Pure and simple. Right, talking about consent calendar in city councils, where it's supposed to be the really kind of dumb little things, but they sneak really big things in there. You have to read your city council agendas. And this is where it really is a great thing to have these big Facebook forums that you have a lot of eyeballs in your town, because I will, even as a planning commissioner, I'll clip things that they're saying, this is an item that we all need to pay attention to. And it gets a lot more traction. So I'm sorry, yeah, right. So she's asking about, what part does it play with all the seismic stuff that we have to deal with in California for our big earthquake problems? The answer, right. I don't know because we haven't dealt with, I've only been on for 6 months. So I haven't dealt with it yet. I would be curious to talk to you because you sound like an expert about that to me. But one thing I can tell you, if you think about sustainable development, I want to put one thought in your head and one thing to remember. Sustainable development is simply the marriage of the green left and the Chamber of Commerce. That's all it is. Okay, this is the green people starting in the 70s that, and I'm not going to bore you with the whole story, that knew they wanted to get this garbage in. They couldn't do it by force. They had to join forces with the people of money. And they had to say, hey, guess what? We're going to change all your zoning and let you developers build 10 or 20 times the amount you would have normally been able to build.
And not only is there massive amounts of money in the density that they can build, units per acre, but right now, everybody that builds these in the state of California especially, but all across the country, gets tax credits, federal subsidies, and low interest or no interest government loans. And I just found out something new that I have to verify because this really impacts Huntington Beach, because we were sold on increasing property taxes. I've also been told that they have a different calculator for property taxes when they build high density. So I'm not even sure we're getting anything to offset the impact to our infrastructure now. So there are goodies out there that are irresistible, notwithstanding the units per acre. This is, it's to Mike's point, so the crony developers with the environmental left have married, and everybody in the middle is getting screwed by this.
Well, it's easier to build high density than a single family home right now.
Okay, I have a question. Mostly we talked tonight about local, and that's great. We need to do that. I'm all behind that. One thing you did bring up was that HR 1995 at OSAR. Yes. Okay. I wanted to. Have you ever heard of pop box?
Yes.
Okay. When you said something about going to our congressman, go to Popbox, vote on it. Go on there, register for popbox.com. That's B, like a Victor, OX, Popbox. Register on there. Read all the bills that you hear about that you are against. This is right now, it's only for the federal bills. They're trying to get it at the state level too. And I've learned about this from Fair Tax because I'm district director for Fair Tax. But you go on there and you voice your opinion and you tell them why you are against this. And you're going to register what district you're in. So it will go, you don't have to name it, but you put your district in. It will go to your representative, your state, and your representative, congressman. And they read those. They do read those. They know that it's there. I have gotten responses back from mine. And I'm going to go on and I'm going to vote for this. But you need to know.
You can be in favor as well as against.
You can be, if you're a vote against it, if you're against something, vote against it. If you are vote for it, you can vote for it. And it goes, and
So she's talking about going to popbox.com.
Right.
Looking at the federal laws are being proposed, the
Right,
proposed laws.
and all federal laws that are being discussed, if you're against them, you go up there and do that, and you can only vote once, they will only let on one bill, but you can do everything that you want.
Unless you're Democrat.
You can't vote early
I don't think
in there.
you're registered, I don't think you're registered, I'm not registered on there what I am, so they don't know. But it's
Sir, I'm sorry.
pop, like you drink pop.
We've got time for a couple more folks.
Yeah, I just had a comment about the sustainable development stuff, because this isn't necessarily just a California or a national issue. This is an international thing.
Yes. It's a world order.
The biggest scope, of course, you can see in China right now, massive movements of populations into the city, right? Yeah. So it's international, and other things besides sustainable development. The Common Core is an international type curriculum. And where America is bound to this stuff through international treaties through the United Nations, and your local city councilman may not understand where all this stuff comes from, and the attorneys that are advising them may not understand all exactly where it's coming from, but it's international law. And so let's remember, what the head of the beast is really the United Nations. And we do have a bill in Congress right now called H.R. 1250, called the American Sovereignty Restoration Act, to get the United States out of the United Nations.
Hey, here, here. H.R. 1250.
And basically evict, their headquarters from New York, because all this foreign spies and terrorists can come there with diplomatic immunity and all that.
If anybody wants to know more about sustainable development, Dan Titus has co-authored a book on it. Phenomenal book. Find him and get a copy of his book.
Actually, it seems impossible, but it has come to a vote in the House twice before, and we weren't that short of passing it. We're pretty close.
One more question. Who's not had a chance? Ma'am?
And all of a sudden, HUD came out there, they built a whole bunch of low-income apartments, there was no jobs for everybody, they brought all the people out from LA, next thing you knew, we had 17 gangs going on.
Yep.
That was crazy. Now, what's going on is all these logistics, and everything in the main city, people love this building is out there, and they're putting a whole section up there that far in the county, it's bigger than the town itself.
It's not the way you want to live, is it?
Can I?
Thank you very much. So we've got just one more.
One question. How do you just derail the TODs, the small
Transit-oriented development.
Yeah, the small start federal funding. How do you just derail it?
Well, it's all part and parcel of sustainable development. So you can't just parcel that out. But in our town, we made the important distinction that they were building high-density housing, which was dependent on transit-oriented development without any transit.
Right.
So they were allowing them to have one-car parking for studio, 1, 2, 3 bedrooms. Only one car. They want to get you out of your car.
It's money-oriented, right?
Well, yeah, the less parking the developer has to provide, the more money he makes.
But how do you prevent them from getting those small start loans? Because if you derail that small start loans, they're not going to want to develop.
I know. We got it. You're coming to take this training.
Okay.
If you don't come, I'm coming to get you.
Yes, you gotta do it.
Well, on resuscitation, you come
Your
and do
questions
that.
will all be answered.
Good.
So first off, I want to thank Carrie Swan, Carol Woodward, Gary, Chelsea, Dan, Tom, Greg, everybody here. I want to put one little chill up your spine.
Yes.
How many people here know a progressive? How many people know a leftist here? If you know them well, I'm going to ask you a question. When are they going to stop? Right. So if they're never going to stop, what's the end game? Well, no. The end. What's their end game? Can you imagine what it is if they're never going to stop? Right? With what their program is now. Total domination. All of our freedoms are lost. We do not have a choice to fight this. We must fight this. We must get together. We must use the tools that are going to give us at the training, the tools we talked about, the tools of networking. We're going to get with everybody here to get together, and we're going to network, because here's our dirty little secret. They have to lie all day long, every day, to get their way. We tell the truth. That's all we have to do. But we have to do it all together. So with that, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. All right, if everybody would keep your seats right